Hello everyone, I'm Camila Lemia and welcome to Rappler's The Leader I Want series. It's a campaign that aims to focus on issues and platform and not on personalities and gimmicks. And today we are joined by former Senator Serge Osmeña, who is eyeing a Senate comeback in 2019 as an independent candidate. Welcome to Rappler, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, first question, why do you want to run as a senator? You've been a senator for so long. Is there anything new you can give to the chamber?
There's many more things I can give to a chamber than a new senator, because an old senator is already familiar with the issues involved. And in this country, where we have a big country, we always have problems that come up. And these are new problems, these are not old problems. So we are able to easily fix the problem rather than a new senator taking it over, because he will take time to learn the ropes first. A new senator there for his first 3 to 6 years, he's not doing anything because he's observing how things go. So it's very hard to have all new senators because makakandara pa silang lahat.
So in this case, mas may advantage veteran senators over
neophyte? Oh, definitely, yes. Definitely, because we can get into something very quickly. Pag may energy problem, alam ko na anong gagawin ko. Yung bagong senador sa energy, pag-aralan niya muna ang energy. So it's definitely a plus.
What will be your platform of governance if you win as senator next year?
Well, there are many bills pending in the Senate. Pending, ha? In other words, it's been pending for 25, 30 years. And I'd like to tackle some of them now. We didn't pay attention to them before because I was paying attention to my energy committee and my banking committee. But now I'd like to pay attention to those bills. For example, one is the Land Use Act. That Land Use Act is so important to us, yet we do not realize how important it is. And it was always blocked in the last minute by the real estate people. But if we can do a deal with the real estate people, then we can push through the Land Use Act. But the Land Use Act will make our titling simpler and easier. And then it will already earmark which parts of the country are going to be developed for what type of industry. So that is very important to us.
What other bills, sir? Because as I understand, you're from the Banking and Energy Committees in the 15th and 16th Congress.
Well, I think the banking bill, the last one I saw there was the recapitalization of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and I think that's about to be passed. I'm not sure, but I think it's about to be passed. But we also have to redo the inside of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas because they only have one deputy governor now, and we want to have about 5 or 6 deputy governors. And so we have to redo that. I don't know if they've actually tackled that.
Sir, are you in favor of amending or revising the EPIRA law?
It all depends what you want to amend or revise. Because
do you have any amendment in mind?
I have no amendments in mind for the EPIRA law.
You're satisfied with the law and its implementation?
Well, it's been working well. The EPIRA, for example, it took away all of our utangs. I mean, hindi na tayo nag-uutang sapagkat hindi na tayo nagpapatayo ng planta. It's now the private sector that puts up the plant. And we have opened it up to the private sector that anybody can come in and put up a plant. You don't need a franchise to do it. So it's been working so well that for the past 17 years, 18 years, we have never had to intervene and put up a plant ourselves. And people don't realize that, because before, parati yung Napocor lang magpapatayo ng planta. At yung Napocor, napakalaki ng utang, umabot ng 1 trillion pesos. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa natin mababayaran yan. So that is out the window. We don't depend on Napocor anymore.
But many Filipinos are still reeling from high prices of electricity. What should be done about it?
Okay. High price of electricity kasi yung our country does not have subsidies for electricity. The other countries have subsidies. So Malaysia has a big subsidy. 30-40% of their electricity is subsidized, especially by their gas industry and their oil industry. What you call it? Thailand is subsidized. Indonesia is subsidized. The only country that's not subsidized is Singapore, and Singapore has the same rates that we have.
Why is it that the Philippine government won't subsidize?
Well, we learned that it is useless to subsidize because we can do more things with that money elsewhere, and we learned not to subsidize, and it was doing as well, no? Except that mataas nga yung presyo natin because of we have no subsidy. Secondly, our country is an island country. So when you develop a grid, napakahirap mag-develop ng grid kasi Mindanao is Mindanao only, Cebu is Cebu only, and then Luzon is Luzon only. So yung mga Palawan, wala sa grid yun. Mindoro is not part of the grid. Marinduque is not part of the grid. Romblon is not part of the grid. Camotes Island is not part of the grid. Camiguin is not part of the grid. Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Holo, they're not part of the grid. So we have more expensive layout of where we have the grid than other countries. Because like in Thailand, you have one solid mass. See? And in Malaysia, you have two solid masses, Sarawak, and so madali lang yung grid nila doon kasi konektado lahat. Tayo dito, we're by islands, so we have to connect all the islands together.
And we have to use like technology, like submarine.
We have to use the underground, the underwater technology.
Sir, you decided to run as an independent. Why did you decide to do that?
Why not?
What are the perks of running as an independent candidate?
No, there are no perks of running as independent. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit more difficult. But I feel comfortable being independent because I'm not tied down by what my party mates say. Kunyari, ako mag-against LBD or I'm for the LB, ano yun? LBGQ.
LGBTQ.
Yeah. And somebody else will be against it. So magkaka-clash kami doon. So it's better to be independent.
You and President Duterte are longtime friends. Will you seek his endorsement in 2019?
No, I will not seek his endorsement because I feel that I'm with him most of the time. No, I'm with him on the China thing. I'm with him on his anti-drug war. And I'm with him on this anti-corruption war. But I'm not with him on federalism. I'm not with him on the EJK. So, hindi naman magkatugma kami ng kwan.
Sir, you mentioned EJKs. Do you think there's a state-sponsored killings in the country?
Is what?
State-sponsored killings in the country as what critics and foreign groups allege.
Well, that's what they claim. And but they have to prove that because sabi nga ni President Duterte, the EJK happens with the policemen or the sometimes yung mga guns for hire na lang, no? So it's really hard to prove it, but they're trying to prove it, and the president already moved the anti-drug war from the police to the PDEA, so that's better.
What should be done about it?
I don't know what can be done. I mean, short of stopping the whole process, that EJK would kill 10,000, 20,000 people. But it seems that the entire peace and order campaign has helped the people. So 76% approve of the anti-drug campaign and the peace and order campaign. People can go home now without being mulcted, without cell phone snatching. So, one pays, it pays off, except that for too many EJKs, I feel uncomfortable. But still, we cannot doubt that the program has succeeded in making things safer for our people.
You've been out of the Senate since 2016. So what are your observations of the Senate under the 17th Congress?
I have not observed the 17th Congress.
Like the senators and how they conducted themselves or
No,
how they
no,
led the chamber?
I've not been watching TV.
So, sir, when you were out of the public eye, what were you doing?
Well, I was reading, and I read a lot, so I mostly read. And I cannot finish the number of books I have.
Sir, let's talk about the incarceration of Senator Laila de Lima and the planned revocation of amnesty of Senator Antonio, of Senator Antonio Trillanes.
Okay.
Do you think it's the president's way of, getting back at his critics, or do you
Yes,
think
okay, yeah, it is. But I mean, that's also part of the game, no? As far as Senator Laila de Lima is concerned, it seems that those people who have testified against her are pretty sure that she did what she was not supposed to do. So talagang dinampot siya at they put her in prison. I think we just have to wait for the courts to decide that. As far as Senator Trillanes is concerned, I think that the loss of his application for amnesty is too much. He's not the holder of that. He's not supposed to take charge of that piece of paper. It's supposed to be somebody in the Department of Justice or
DND.
somebody in the Department of the DND. So, hanapin mo yung sino nagtago ng papel. Hindi mo hanapin si Senator Trillanes. So I think he's being given a raw deal there.
So why do you think the president is doing that?
Yeah, because he wants to silence Trillanes also.
Because he's always attacking the president
Yeah.
and his policies. Yeah. Sir, if you win, what committees would you like to handle? Do you want to go back to banking and energy or try a different one?
Well, I think I might have to go back to energy because there are more bills coming up, although I haven't seen them yet. The banking committee, I don't think I want the banking committee anymore.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Mabusisi eh. At saka, well, if somebody else can take banking, I'd rather he take it.
Sir, pero if and when you win the 2019 elections, will you join the majority bloc or the minority bloc?
Neither. I will be independent in the Senate. I've always been independent in the Senate. So sometimes I vote with the majority, sometimes I vote with the minority. But we don't have a bloc per se in the Senate.
Sir, you are running at a time when the country is divided by the politics of hate, so to speak.
Politics of?
Hate, like everywhere in social media, in politics, and almost everywhere in government. What can you do to address that if you're already a senator?
The politics of hate. Well, I really cannot do much to address that because hate comes from you. It comes from somebody else. It doesn't come from me. So I really don't know what to say about that.
So let's now talk about China.
What?
Let's now talk about China.
China, okay.
What do you think about the president's or the administration's warming up towards China amid our victory in The Hague?
Well, you see, China, we should divide it into 4 parts or 5 parts. Not only the victory in The Hague, that is the Philippine Court of Arbitration. No, I mean the International Court of Arbitration. No. China, we have to see that China buys 30% of our goods. So let's not endanger our goods. Like, for example, a year and a half ago when China was mad at us for a while, they refused to unload our bananas in Hong Kong. And so the bananas rotted.
Yeah.
And this is an example of what China can do to us. Number 2, they wouldn't send us tourists. So our tourists went down from 600,000 to 200,000. Ngayon, umaabot na ng 1 million ang tourists ng China dito because they allowed the Chinese again. And China is so close to us that we can really
Benefit.
we can benefit like 5-10 million tourists from China alone because China is 1.2 billion people. 3, the loans we're getting from China. That's, I don't know, 24 billion, but we're getting loans from China. So let us separate all the four, and we will deal diplomatically with the West Philippine Sea issue.
Sir, you mentioned the loans from China. Yung iba naman sinasabi, be careful because of what they're doing to other countries. Should the Philippines be also careful with that?
But we hardly have any loans from China. So, pag dumating yan dito, then we will, 20 billion pesos is only 1 trillion pesos. So, kayang-kayang bayaran yan. Over 30 years, 40 years, kayang bayaran yan. Yung nangyari sa for example, sa this place, Seychelles. No, not the Seychelles, the Maldives. Yeah. They built a bridge, and the bridge is not making money, but they have to pay back China the loan. And since they couldn't even afford to pay China the loans, na-remati yung bridge. But what good is it to China to get the bridge? So it's really a funny situation.
Sir, what's your take on the Philippine government signing of an MOU between with China on gas and oil development?
Okay. First, I saw a draft, a 1.5-page draft of it, and it was silent on the sharing. Now, to me, the sharing should be 60-40, not 50-50. So what Secretary Locsin did was he pulled the draft and he added there 60-40. At pinirmahan rin ng China, but it is still subject to negotiation. Now, if it is not 60-40, hindi ako papasok. In other words, it has to be 60-40 in our favor because we own the land, not China. Number two, this is the issue of the seismic ship. Now, a seismic ship is the one that measures, because this is a seismic study really. When you start exploration, you have to do a seismic study. Now, if we do not have a seismic ship, China has a seismic ship. Now, if the results come out in Chinese, paano natin malaman kung sinasabi nila sa amin yung totoo? See? So I would like the seismic ship to belong to a third country like Britain or Australia or United States, so that we will be able also to get the to get the information from them.
Other concerns or in terms of the MOU?
No, the MOU can do it, can go ahead, but it has to be 60-40, and the seismic ship has to be a neutral country.
Sir, let's now talk about the third telecommunications company in the Philippines, which was provisionally granted to Ms. Latel, Dennis Uy, and China Telecom. Do you see any problem with that, or do you have any concern, like some of the senators?
No, they're worried that China will control our telecoms. First, what the hell will China do with our telecoms? We're not the United States. Second, even our Globe and PLDT, they buy from Huawei. So the equipment is mostly Huawei. So I don't see that there's any problem with China Telecoms coming in.
So Filipinos should not be worried or alarmed?
No.
So what about the illegal Chinese tourists who are now working in the Philippines illegally?
That is bothersome. I understand there are as many as 300,000. 119,000 have registered, but the rest have not registered. They just come in as tourists. The other ones have registered, as tourists, but they converted their visa into working visa. The other ones are here as really workers, but it's about only 25,000. So I'm worried about that because number one, they're into construction, and they're into POGO, or the online gaming. All right, this can be taken over by Filipinos easily, because it's really a semi-skilled worker only. So why are we hiring say, 300,000 Chinese when we can hire 300,000 Filipinos?
What should be done about it?
We should stop it. I mean, we have not stopped it so far because, they came in as tourists. But then we should stop it already so that first, we will find out where they are and then deport them. Secondly, we don't allow Chinese to come into the country if they don't have the wherewithal to support themselves.
What should the president do about it?
The president should stop it. He really should stop it because we're losing 300,000 jobs. You know that we only create about less than 1 million jobs a year for our new workers. Now, our new workers are about 1.7 million a year. So 700,000 have no jobs.
Kalaban pa. Sir, what about the perennial problem of underemployment and unemployment in the country?
Okay.
Now that we're on that topic.
Yeah. First, we have to make sure that our people are matched to the jobs. All right? Because many people here are not matched to the jobs. Even the low-paying jobs like the construction work, they're not matched to it. So we have to have TESDA really go all out to train these people to do carpentry work, to do yung mga busisi na...
Vocational?
Yeah. So that they can match the skills that are needed by the construction companies. If not, we'll have a lot of people unemployed and we'll have a lot of construction jobs unfilled, which is really silly because if you have the jobs ready, then you just bring people to it. So we have to, in between that is the TESDA. So we have to do TESDA.
So we have to strengthen that government
Oh yeah,
agency.
definitely. That's very good. And number two, we have to bring in more foreign direct investments. And to do that, we have to do 4 things, and these 4 things are so hard to do. 1, we have to remove that phrase in the Constitution that says they can't own land. All right? Because it's useless. Anyway, they cannot bring the land with them to Japan or China or wherever that land has to stay here. So let them buy land here because in the other countries they can buy land, but here they cannot buy land. Why? 2, we prohibit a lot of people from working here. Like for example, you're an architect, you have to have a Philippine license. You're a doctor, you have a Philippine license. You're a lawyer, you have to have a... Hindi pwede yan because the other countries are also lax in doing that. So why should we be strict in doing that? 3rd, there are a lot of industries that they cannot get into. Like for example, they cannot own 100% of a telecoms company. They cannot own. Why? I mean, for example, a TV company. A TV company, how many channels do you get from abroad? You get CNN, you get all of these other companies, NBC, CBS, ABS, and they're coming from abroad, and they're coming, and so why are we being strict about our own telecoms, TV companies, and radio companies, when abroad they're coming in here anyway, and they're beaming their signals to the Philippines, and we're not doing, we can't do a damn thing about it. So, we have, I know it's going to take time, but we have to do that so that when more investors come in, we have about $9–10 billion today in foreign direct investments. Vietnam is 70. What you call it?
Thailand.
Thailand is 80. And we're only 10. And sila 80. So marami pong silang jobs na gaganap, tayo wala.
So you're open to amending I'm sensing that you're open to amending the economic provisions of the Constitution.
Not only the economic, even the ones that are set by the President, for example, yung mga yung negative list niya, tanggalin na natin yung negative list na yan. I mean, why are we always saying that hindi ka pwede pumasok sa pharmacy, hindi ka pwede po. Bakit? Let's open it up so that more people will come in and do business with us.
Sir, aside from the economic provisions of the Constitution, what other parts of it do you want to be amended?
No, I only want to amend the economic provisions of the Constitution.
But not cha-cha for federalism?
No.
Why? Why are you against federalism?
Oh, God. First, federalism will just add an added layer of bureaucracy. So when you have the national government here, you have the local government here, you'll put a federal government here. So you'll have a federal governor, a federal vice governor, federal congress, etc. That will cost us 250 billion pesos. Para qué? We don't need that. I mean, you give me 250 billion, I'll spend it on giving people jobs. I won't spend it on giving jobs to those crazy guys who will be elected congressmen. That's one. Two, federalism will work if every region has its wherewithal. But in this country, only 3 regions will be self-sustaining under federalism. NCR, Regions 4A, and Regions 3. The rest will be underwater.
Sinasabi nila, sir, that it will lead to an equal distribution of wealth or...
Why will it lead to an equal distribution of wealth? Distribution of wealth is, the wealth is created in the greater Manila area. It's about 50% of our wealth are created here in greater Manila area. So, how will it lead to a greater distribution of wealth? You see, the essence today is that in urbanization, you have people crowding to the cities. So Manila's 20 million, New York's 20 million, LA is 20 million, Mexico is 20 million. They really crowd to the cities because the cities have everything. The cities have the services, the cities have... So why will you send them out to Caraga? Di walang service sa Caraga, walang telepono sa Caraga. So it's really hard. It's really hard because the natural tendency is to move to the cities.
Sir, so are you in favor of death penalty?
What?
Death penalty?
No, I'm not in
Why?
favor of death penalty. It has never been proven to be a deterrent in crime. In the United States, they have several studies that show that. So
it's
and besides, it's a very barbaric practice. I mean, you keep a guy in jail forever. That's even worse than killing him. If you kill him, his problems are over.
What about divorce? Are you in favor of it?
Yes, I'm in favor of divorce.
Why?
Well, we already have annulment. We already have legal separation because we don't like to call it divorce. So let's just call it divorce and complete the cycle already.
What do you think to accusations or allegations that it will lead to the destruction of a family as an institution?
Why? They separate right now. It's already led to the destruction of their families. I mean, maski wala kang divorce, mas mahirap ngayon walang divorce kasi nakatali pa kayo. At least with divorce, clean na yung cut. So, but people are separating night and day here, or they won't get married because they cannot get the divorce. And so, I think we should allow divorce already.
Sir, if you win in the Senate, because the president is against divorce, he already said it.
He said?
That he's not in favor of it.
He's not in favor of it, but he's divorced himself.
Yeah. So, sir, the president is likely not to support it, but if you win, will you still vote for it?
Yes, I'll vote for the divorce law. And I think the president will sign it, the law.
Why?
Because he's divorced himself.
Sir, now let's talk about the Philippine economy. Various reports have been published on the capital flight from the country. Do you agree with that? And how should the country address this?
No, we have no capital flight in this country. No, we have no capital flight. I mean, you know, these are natural transfers of money. Like, for example, say you're a power company and you want to put up also a power plant because it's the same business in Malaysia. Well, that's allowed because at the same time, the one in Malaysia can put up a power plant here also. So
it's not worrisome.
no.
What about the rising prices of goods and services? What
That,
should be done
that is
about it?
worrisome. That is worrisome. Well, first, let's pinpoint what caused the major increase in our inflation. It was rice and the other commodities, food commodities that were like vegetables, meat, fish, etc. That has been the major cause of our inflation. Now, with the Senate passing the tarification of rice, that's good. That will bring down, with the 35% tariff, that will bring down rice by about 4 pesos a kilo, from 40 to 36. But that's not enough, because Thailand's rice sells at 22. So we should bring down the price of our rice to about 30 or 27. So we have to lower the tariff from 35% to maybe eventually 10%.
So, but it's a good start already.
Yeah, that's a good start because we have to help our farmers also at the same time. But you see, the rice issue has always been between two competing factions. The 104 million Filipino consumers and the 2 million rice farmers. And we've always been protecting the rice farmers. But we cannot continue doing that. What we have to do is we have to help the rice farmers bring down his cost of production, not bring it up. So we have to give them mechanization, we have to give them certified seeds, we have to give him credit. We have to do that right away. And if we do that, about 70% of our farmers will be okay. 30% won't be okay because these are the places, even 40%, because of the places which are not irrigated or cannot be irrigated. So we have to teach them to go to other crops. So we have to teach them to go to Mongo, to what you call it?
Corn.
Cacao. No, not corn. Corn is a low value crop. Mongo, cacao, and other like cut flowers, etc. But they have to go to a higher value crop, at least substantially higher than rice.
Sir, let's talk about Train 1. Let's talk about Train 1 because some
Train
are
1.
blaming that law for the increase of basic goods and services. Do you share that same view?
No, well, Train 1, yes, it brought up prices, but that's only about 1% of the 6.7%. 4% of the 6.7% was really rice and the other goodies that we won. So Train 1 is good because first, it put money in the people's pockets because it raised the exemption from to 250,000. 250,000, wala ka ng tax. So, nagkaroon ng kwarta yung mga tao. In the meantime, Train 1 had to get back the money that they gave you. So, they raised the taxes on sugar drinks. They raised the taxes on diesel, etc. But that's okay. I mean, essentially, Train 1 was okay, especially now that diesel prices have gone down already. So Train 1 is okay.
Would you have voted for it if you were in the Senate?
Yes, I would have voted for Train 1. I think I would have voted for it.
Sir, what about Train 2 or the so-called Trabaho Bill, which seeks to cut the incentives?
I think it's okay. I think a lot of people are just worried that it will cause industries that are already here to up and leave. I don't think so.
Why?
But well, when you're established already in a country, you don't leave it. Okay? And if we raise their taxes by a little bit, like from 5% GIE or gross income taxation to 7 or 8%, or make it net at 21%, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem for those guys who are already here. Now, whether others will come in, we have to see. Because as far as I'm concerned, you know, we have been talking about this train too for a long time. And as far as I'm concerned, we have to see, we have to pencil push and see at what rate will they be willing to pay. And so that is beyond me now because I'm not there. But if I'm there, I would be pushing the pencil on that.
Sir, let's now talk about your 2019 campaign. You're running as an independent. How do you plan to do your campaign? Because you're only one, and you also mentioned that you plan to.
Well, I ran as an independent 2001, 2010, 2016. So what's the difference now?
What will is it difficult to run as an independent?
No, it's not.
In terms of like mobility and financially?
No. Financially, the other groups cannot give you any money anyway. Okay. No, I go around the whole country, but I go to the radio stations. I don't hold rallies because holding rally is very expensive. Holding a rally and then speaking on the tablado and that's too expensive. So, and besides, I'll be alone, so that's really prohibitive. So, you know, I don't hold rallies.
What about television ads? Or
Yes, television ads and radio ads.
do you plan to use social media for your campaign?
Yes, also
How?
I'm using social media now.
Through your Facebook page, but do you plan to like have your own social media ads like some of the candidates already do?
I don't know. We're studying that.
Sir, you told me earlier that you're helping Senator Grace Poe and that you might be campaigning with her. Why did you decide to do that? Considering that, if I remember it correctly, in 2016 you had sort of a falling out when she ran for president.
No, we never had a falling out. Believe me. I just quietly told her that I couldn't support her because she chose Jesus Escudero. But that's it. And she took it very well. As a matter of fact, I helped her also with her ads in the latter part. But I helped her in 2013 when she first ran for the Senate. And she asked me if we could campaign together. And I said, yes. She's independent, I'm independent, so we will campaign together.
So will you be releasing ads na dalawa kayo or not to that
No,
point?
I don't think. I think we'll have our own ads.
Sir, there's a disqualification case filed against you. You already filed your response 2 days ago. What's your main argument against the case?
Because I filed. They're saying that I did not file on time. They're correct. But I filed late, and the COMELEC agreed to accept my filing late. So if COMELEC agreed to accept my filing late, how can they use that as a disqualification against me? That's all. It's very simple.
So in 2010, you filed,
Yes,
but you
I
were
filed.
just late.
I was late.
But did COMELEC accept it?
Yes, they accepted it. They accepted it, and they allowed me to take my oath as a senator. Because if you don't file and they disqualify you, you're not allowed to take your oath. But they allowed me to take my oath. In other words, they accepted my filing. I filed on August 10.
In 2016, they said you also didn't file. Is it
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Why didn't you file?
Okay. Here's what happened in 2016. I was late again. Well, it was because I was packing all my two offices, and some of the papers got mixed up with what they packed 300 boxes. I had 300 boxes from inside the files in my office. No? So, nagkagulo that I was looking for the other pieces of paper that were necessary to my filing. So I wrote, let's see, the elections are on May 9th, so June 9th, I had to file by June 9th. About June 14, I wrote Andy Bautista, the chairman of COMELEC, and said, can I file late? And Andy said he referred my case to the COMELEC and bank. At the same time, without my knowing it, the Liberal Party, Senator Rojas and Senator Drilon also did not file on time. Okay. So the COMELEC gave a resolution that everybody is allowed to file late. But they didn't tell me.
You were not informed.
I was not informed. I mean, you know, I wrote them, but they didn't write me back. So what can I do?
Mm-hmm. So are you now confident that your case will be dismissed?
Yes, I'm confident it will be dismissed.
But just in case it won't be dismissed, what's the plan?
I'll give up.
But you're 100% confident.
I'm 100% confident it will.
Mm-hmm. Sir, you were among the victims of martial law, and you're now running together with, not together, but you're running in the same field as Amy Marcos. Are you willing to work with her if you both win in the
Well, I
Senate?
work with Bongbong.
Mm-hmm. No problem. You know
No problems. I mean, you know, you just work on the bills, that's all.
Mm-hmm. And now
You're not buddies.
it's professional.
Yes.
What do you think about Imelda Marcos's conviction of graft? Do you
Well, it's
agree
good.
that she should be sent to jail?
Well, he's 89 years old. I mean, I'm talking about a human being here. I'm not talking about one. He's 89 years old, and he shouldn't be put in jail anymore. Maybe at most house arrest, but not jail.
Only for humanitarian reasons?
Yes.
What do you think about her conviction?
Her conviction was well taken. I mean, everybody knows what she did, you know, except that it took 35 years to convict her.
Mm-hmm. Sir, you're friends with the president, and at the same time, he allowed the hero's burial of the late dictator.
Yes.
How did you feel about it?
I felt bad about that. But there's nothing I can do. I mean, you know, those are decisions he makes, and
What were your thoughts then when it happened? And it happened so fast and in a secret fashion?
Well, that was it. You know, it happened so fast because they didn't want to make a fuss about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if he had people on their side, then they would have said, "Oh yes, let's escort the president to his grave in Libingan ng mga Bayani." But they did not. They secretly buried him, and then they said, "Oh, tapos na. We buried him." Okay, so you buried him, but that doesn't make it legal.
At that time, bumalik ba yung mga memories of martial law?
No, naman, no. I mean, those are long gone.
You worked with former Senate President JPE.
Yeah.
Like, is it safe to say that you already forgave your...
No, I personally have forgiven everybody for what they did to me. I just cannot forgive those who did something to our people. Yan ang talagang kumuha ka ng hustisya muna. Kasi myself, personally, I've forgiven everybody.
Sir, any other message to our viewers, to your supporters, or to those that don't even support you?
Well, my only message to them is that since the economy is our main concern today, and it will be our main concern for the longest time, but it is especially today because of the high inflation we're suffering. They should think of the economists also in the Senate slate, because I'm the only one there who understands economics, and perhaps that if they feel that they should vote for me, they should vote for me because I'm an economist.
Thank you very much, Senator Serge Osmeña, for joining us today. And that was former Senator Serge Osmeña, who is eyeing a Senate comeback in 2019. He talked to us about his 2019 campaign plans as an independent candidate, as well as his stand on some controversial issues such as the death penalty and the divorce bill. Thank you for joining us.